Hi everyone, this is an astrology and tarot reading looking at the next 6 months, so up until the end of 2025, up till February. I'm going to start with the astrology that we're going into because it's bringing in some big changes, but not quite yet. So first of all, we've got eclipse season. On September 7th at 7:11 p.m. UK time, we have a total full moon lunar eclipse. That is at 15 degrees of Pisces, so 100% of the moon will be blocked. This is connected to the North Node, which is all about the future. So this eclipse is showing and shifting what needs to go for the future to come in. So this eclipse is about sudden endings, energetic shifts, possible leadership change. Now, this could be in the world, it could be in society, it could just be in your world, in work, in family. See how that plays out. Then on September 21st at 11 a.m. UK time at 29 degrees of Virgo is the partial solar eclipse. So in the UK, about 30 to 40% of the sun will be blocked. This is linked to the South Node, which is about releasing the old, even though it is a new moon eclipse, which also represents new beginnings. So this eclipse is helping to prepare for the new to come in, especially being at 29 degrees of Virgo, which is the end of the sign. So a lot around endings and new beginnings and paving the way for these. Then on September 22nd, we've got the equinox. So that's 12 hours of light and 12 hours of dark, which represents a turning point. There's a lot of retrograde. So Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius until the 14th of October. Neptune is retrograde in Aries up until the 11th of December. Uranus goes retrograde on the 6th of September, and then it goes direct again on the 4th of February. And Saturn is retrograde. It goes back into Pisces from Aries on the 1st of September, and then it goes direct again on November 27th. And then this is its last visit in Pisces. It goes back into Aries, finally, on the 13th of February 2026. So this now is the last time of Saturn in Pisces for the next 27, 28, 29 years. And it represents a last going over of old ground before finally moving on, final reflections and realizations before closure, and then moving on. And I just want to say you've been very patient. That's the message coming through here. But the patience has been needed because you've gone deeper and analysed and reflected deeper, which will all have a benefit when you move on with those insights. So there is some temporary fogginess kind of in this 6 months leading up to February, temporary fogginess, haziness before we get a lot more clarity from February 2026 onwards. And actually that coincides with the next eclipse season. So February 17th, solar eclipse, and March 3rd, total lunar eclipse. I feel like these eclipses we're in now, and then again in 6 months are sort of bookending this time of change. And for those of you wondering about the next Mercury retrograde, it is the 9th to the 29th of November. Shadow starts on the 21st of October and finishes on the 17th of December. I found the last retrograde really affected travel. So actually this next one, I'm not saying don't travel, but just, factor it into your plans that there could be some delays, some setbacks, some unexpected changes, which can be for the better. It's not all something to dread and worry about. So that is the astrology. I'm going to move on to the cards I pulled. So as usual, if you're listening to this video, then this message is for you. Parts of the message will resonate for you more. So take what does, leave what doesn't. I just asked the cards for some advice and guidance on how to approach this time and what's coming up over the next 6 months. So even before I pulled the cards when I was shuffling, I got the message that it's the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning. There's things to be tied up. There's things that need to still drop into place. And it's a time of dotting I's and crossing T's that maybe you hadn't realized still needed to be done, but they do. So it's a time of finalizing things. Okay, first card we've got is the Seven of Wands on the left here. So that represents a speeding up of things and a lighter feeling. Something has lifted or is lifting during this time. There's a changed mindset and you'll not be feeling so weighed down in your mind. It's a time to go with the flow. Things will be very fast. You may find yourself being more energetic and assertive. And remember, if something's not whizzing along and flowing along easily, if it keeps getting blocked or it's just uncomfortable or not quite right, then it's not meant to happen. If during this time you have to force something to happen, then maybe it's just not right. Even if it's what you thought would happen or something you'd planned for, you may need to shift your thinking around that. Second card, Major Arcana, we have the Death card. So again, tying in with the eclipses, this represents an ending and new beginnings. And this may happen sooner and faster than expected with that Seven of Wands there. So particularly this is triggered around these eclipse times in September and then next February. The endings and beginnings may not physically happen yet, but you'll have concrete news around them, concrete news around something that's sort of happening, even if it doesn't physically happen during this next 6 months. There's also a sense with these first two cards of clearing just what's done with. Okay. So then third card is the Page of Wands. So this represents a new journey or a new path after the ending of the Death card. So a new sort of energetic path and purpose. There's lots of hope with this card, lots of positive expectation for your new chapter. It can also represent receiving news. So it could be just whatever new is coming in, new job, new home, new something. Then finally, we have another Major Arcana, the Hierophant card. So this is saying in this new situation that this next 6 months is paving the way for, you will be leading, guiding, supporting other people using what you've learned. You'll be sharing your deeper wisdom and experience. And it's when you're doing this, it will be time for it, time for you to share what you know and what you can do and what you know will be needed in the new situation you go into. You'll use your experience to guide others, and what you bring will be very healing and very much sort of service to others and to your new situation. So overall, the message is one of destiny unfolding. Your destiny unfolding over this next 6 months, especially with that Death and the Hierophant card and the eclipses clearing things that you don't need to take on your new path. So it's very much about moving you into your new chapter, which will be very purposeful for you. Big things are shifting. So just remember that when things feel hazy and foggy, remember that you are moving through something and you are where you need to be, and you are ultimately moving to this Hierophant card, this new level of mastery, a new level of insight and purpose. Okay, I hope those messages were useful. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk again soon.